Hi everyone, I hope you are doing well. I felt called to come on here today, and actually, this is a reading that I've been wanting to do for a while. I just haven't, it hasn't been the right time, I guess. Energy's been all over the place, and you guys know how things go that, when you can't force something, so when it's time, right? But today is the time. So, this is a Soul Connections reading, and I'm going to do this as a collective reading, first of all. And I have an outline here to go through some certain things as my intention. But as you know, sometimes with these things, they take a certain direction. So this is, again, just a, a fluid outline. It's, as we've learned on this journey, right? You can't try to plan and make things go a certain way. But the intention here is for this to follow this type of spread that I have here, okay, which is going to be looking at the collective that Spirit wants us to tap into. All right, so I'm going to pull first cards from my Sacred Union Tarot just to see what collective we're talking about, right? And again, I may use certain labels throughout the reading, such as twin flame, soul connection, spiritual union, divine masculine, divine feminine. But certainly take those, or don't, however they resonate. I thought it was interesting that this is the first time since I bought this candle. It was actually from the Halloween store that I felt called to light it. And it is, I don't know if you guys can see it from here, but it's the Empress. It's the Empress Tarot card. And I think it's really cool, at least the way I'm seeing it reflected back to me in the video, is that it looks like it's illuminating the picture I have behind me. It says "Believe in the Spirit," and it's funny because there's actually a candle right behind it on the drawing, but it looks like it's part of the light is part of that, and it's actually illuminating the eye in spirit. What's also interesting to me is that Kali, however you want to say it, she is the goddess that is on the Empress card, which I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And she is a goddess of death. She's a goddess of transformation, and basically, cutting out anything that no longer serves our highest and greatest good. So I didn't notice that until I actually sat down to do the reading, and I was like, whoa, that's Kali on here. It's like she, you excuse my language, but she does not take any shit, and she has no problem just, pulling out that sword and cutting out things. So I don't know if that's the theme that this is going to go to, but, of this reading. But I want you guys to know, if you're new to this channel, I don't sugarcoat things, and I certainly am not the type of reader who is going to encourage you to hold on to attach, to wait around for a specific person. I can tell you, and some more things may come out in the reading, about my own journey. We shall see. Although, many of us may have been awakened by a specific person and, have been on, a journey that at some point we thought was leading to a union with a certain person. I know in my case, I've definitely encountered multiple past life, deep, intense spiritual soul connections along the way, right? Which has opened the door for me to say, wow, this whole concept of sacred union, certainly there's an infinite number of possibilities of how this could play out. And in my case, it's actually becoming much more, as more time goes by, right, a journey of self, right? But so again, as far as the general outline goes, we are going to pull a spread to see what type of collective we're tapping into. But again, even if it's not, the exact same experience that you've had, you still, may want to stay tuned, because I am going to get into the spiritual lessons that, you should be learning, or the purpose, as far as what were the spiritual lessons that you should be learning on this journey. What type of shadow work was this person trying to force you to do and heal within yourself? We are going to look into, and I don't like using this term like your person, but, many of you, if you're watching this, you're watching it because of a specific person. It doesn't mean that you're going to end up with this person, or that they are, quote, your person, but it's the person you have in mind, right? And if you never got closure with them, I find that these readings often can be very helpful to do that, to help you know, that you weren't crazy, right? Or, for me, the biggest thing was turning off and healing that rejection wound, right? To realize this was really not about me, it was about them. And to get to a point where you love yourself and oh my gosh, not only am I worthy of this, like I'm worthy of much greater than this, right? Than what was given to me. But we are going to look into their headspace, their heart space. We're going to look into some of the things that maybe have been hidden, things that you aren't looking at as far as the bigger picture and the higher perspective of this connection. Then we are also going to get some messages from Spirit as far as healing, closure, empowerment, just messages that they want you to know right now about your journey in general, and about your sacred union journey. So I anticipate I'm going to be using quite a few decks. So I will list those down below. And I also just wanted to mention that this gorgeous amethyst butterfly, I just got this, and I felt called to bring it out. And I think probably because it's about the transformation, and you know pink and blue, merging can make a beautiful purple color, right? And so within yourself, it's finding that goal, right, of like merging your masculine and feminine energy as part of this journey. So also, I just felt called to put this. There's no place like a home, probably because for many of us, this person, if you're thinking about a specific person, they felt like home in ways that no one had. And so it's hard to sometimes understand, right? It almost can feel like this cruel at times when you start the journey. It's like, why would you be introduced to this person and to have a depth of experiencing something out of this world like you never have before, and to feel that, right, and to have it not work out in the traditional 3D sense, it can be very hard and very challenging. But ultimately, and we'll see what the cards say, but ultimately this is a journey of getting back to not only yourself, but also oneness, right? And so as part of that journey, we have to recognize and live in an existence where we understand there's no such thing as separation, not only from this person, but from God, from Source. And unfortunately, as a part of that, we are taught and we are forced to spend a lot of time in solitude. And again, the vast majority of my viewers, from what I can tell, are female. So a lot of this will probably be geared towards females watching, but again, we have masculine and feminine energies within us, as I will stress many times. And so, please take it how it resonates, right? If it's more your energy I'm tapping into, or them, or vice versa. All right. So without further ado, we are going to get started. I'm going to move this over here. I have way too many decks out. So again, we are going to look at the spread using my Sacred Union Tarot as far as tapping into the collective. All right. This one will come out. Okay. Wow. It's beautiful. Okay. Let's put that out here. Okay. So, in case you guys aren't familiar with my Sacred Union Tarot that I created, for the Queen cards and the Empress card, I did put images of myself on there. And the reason being is number one, this deck was really kind of like my autobiography of my Sacred Union journey. I created this at the end of 2020, so it kind of captures my journey from my awakening in 2017 up until that point. So there's the reason for that, and I also felt like putting myself on the cards and images that reminded me of my journey, right, would help me tap better into my clients' energy and experiences. Because if it's something that, like, I knew exactly in that moment what I was feeling, or why I picked that image for the card, it really helps me empathize and understand someone better, right? Um, so, what I'm getting is this has been a long journey, okay? So, doesn't mean that if you've just met somebody recently and you went through an awakening in this process that this isn't for you, okay? But what I'm getting for the vast majority of the people watching this is that, because the current energy is temperance, which is a major arcana, and it's about patience, healing, and divine timing. And as you can see, and the reason that I chose this image is because she's literally on fire. She's on fire and with desire, and it's like feeling like waiting forever because many feminines on this journey, they end up, whether willingly or not, and at times it's back and forth, right? They take a vow of celibacy. And at first, right, at least in my case, I was saving myself for a specific person, and it was agonizing. But in time, it's actually become, it's like, okay, it's not even about a specific person. It's about a specific energy, and it's about, I'm not even interested in this unless it's there, right? It for a while it was like, my part of my journey that I had to let go of, and temper, right? Temperance was my sexual desire, and I've taken that and channeled that into creation and service, right? Creating these decks has been an outlet for me in that regard, to the point where I feel like many feminines on this journey, it was extremely challenging, right, to take that vow of celibacy, to go within, to really try to find our inner feminine, and not just give ourselves away, right, in that way, in that sacred way, to really become a sacred feminine. I'm getting that, there's been so much healing, right? Healing around letting go of illusions of what this journey is actually about, right? Because we got the moon here in the recent past, which I think in the past, this represents our illusion, right? Illusion, confusion, celestial cycles. But this to me, the moon, it's like in 18, it adds up to 9. It's about realizing, letting go of the illusion that this journey is about ending up with somebody, ending up with a specific person, or even ending up with someone in this magical fairy tale, right? It's been emotionally, it's brought so many emotions to the surface, and it's really, for me, like I feel like for those in the collective, and I mean, you guys, if you follow a lot of YouTube readers, and if you've been on this journey, 3, 4, 5 years, 6 years, like me, you start to see the shift within the collective itself, where, even, the major spiritual, uh, readers, like, people, Luna Ash is one, she may have a Patreon now, but like she's hardly even on, social media. But for the longest time, she would even talk about twin flames, and it was just this hot topic, and it ended up becoming an obsession for people. And as more time went by, and as, like, with all the celestial cycles, right, all the celestial cycles, it was like, oh, this next full moon, this next eclipse, this energy is going to purge, this energy is going to shift, and they're going to come back. And sometimes they would come back, right? It happened exactly like everybody felt and sensed and predicted, but all it was an illusion, right? It was, the purpose was they would come back and force our healing even more, force the Four of Swords, force us to go within, force us to, stop focusing on the Ten of Cups, right? This is, for many of the divine feminines, the marriage, the family. I had on this card, I made the Ten of Cups image in 2020. Happiness, fulfillment was this. And I'll tell you guys, like, because the outcome here is the Queen of Cups. This was supposed to be the fulfillment and the happiness. If we put our focus on someone else, and that we have to have this fantasy happen, right? That in my mind is the collective that we're tapping into, is those who have been on this journey a long time, and who have shifted into and it's not been an easy shift, right? I feel like for many of us too, there was a major healing process triggered, and another level of letting go of this thought that the Ten of Cups is union with someone else, and this that it's external. And I feel like that happened in Scorpio season this year. All right, so let me see here. We have, now the focus has shifted onto becoming the best version of ourselves. I mean, I find this so fascinating because the card that's in the placement up here, which is what we ultimately want, it's like our desire, like the focus. I swear, if I would have done this reading 2 years ago, if I would have done this reading even a year ago, this card would have been up there, or the Ten of Pentacles would have been up there, or Six of Cups, right? The card that's up there now is the Empress. And you guys, you know what I'm going to say. You can't make this shit up because I lit the Empress candle before the reading. But again, the energy is much, much different, right? And it was crazy, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it must be the couch she's sitting on. I thought she was wearing like a skirt, but it's like pink. It's like this pink fabric, and that's what I'm wearing. I was doing a belly dancing class, and I took that picture, and it just like encapsulated, because I hadn't yet been, I want to say that I hadn't really tapped into my sacred feminine energy until that time, and that really was a shift in me that took place. And I will say, it wasn't long after this, literally, this was like the end of November in 2020, and I released my Sacred Union Tarot deck. New Year's Eve, I think, is when I released it. And on that same night, the Kali energy came out, and I actually cut off, my perceived twin flame from all social media, and decided, that's the Kali energy, like, to move forward on my own, because it was just the pain was holding me back. Right? It was literally burning me up inside, consuming me, being connected in that way to him, is he going to like my post? I mean, I'll tell you, like this, I even posted, on Snapchat only, so he would see it. And, that was the energy I was in. Would he message me? Would I get a reaction? Would he ask me out? That is not healthy energy to be in. Right? That is not Empress energy. Empress is creating our own happiness, and our own, like, external, right? So for me to take that step, it was huge. It was a huge step. It was a crossroads, Two of Swords. This also represents travel. This is, I don't know that this is actually Sedona, but Sedona is a place that I go pretty much every year, and is very significant on my journey. So, but this is choices, crossroads, stalemate. So in my mind, the collective I'm tapping into, again, is us who have made the choice to go forward on our own. And I will say that, in my case, my twin and I did reconnect. It was almost a year. I eventually, I felt so called when I was in Sedona. I could not, the energy, just, you guys know how it is. Sometimes you've got to know a difference between neediness and energy that needs to be cleared and balanced within yourself, right? And I'm so grateful that happened, that I reconnected with him, and I was in a better place to where I could just be his friend, and without any expectations. And we did develop a beautiful friendship. But at the same time, things, move forward quickly on my journey. We've got the Knight of Swords. I got, a lot of clarity. And again, where I thought possibly something could be heading in a certain direction, right? Again, there was a shift. Five of Pentacles, left out in the cold. But what I realized, what was so beautiful about it, was when that happened, this summer, it was like I no longer felt the rejection wound, right? So no longer feeling like you're left out in the cold. Instead, to me, it's like when they come in and out of your life, right? The Knight of Swords, knights are transitory. They don't stick around. And so I think, the collective I'm tapping into, it's like you recognize what this person's purpose of coming in and out of your life isn't for you to um, be in a relationship with them. The purpose of them coming in and out of your life is to lead you back to yourself. And so I have noticed these patterns where over the years he would come in my life, and it's like get me back on track on my journey, which ultimately me being back on track is me being in the Empress energy, me being in the Queen of Cups energy, loving myself, living my best life, focusing on my own journey, my own ascension, and getting to the point where it's like, whether or not this person's in my life or not, I want the best for him, and I know he wants the best for me. And it's, don't get me wrong, like there's still times, right, where you have to heal, Four of Swords, like from this never happening. And I say never, but like from it not happening, right? You've been on this journey a long time. So there are cycles where we go through with Ten of Wands, feeling overwhelmed, feeling burdened, feeling like, with this ascension journey, you can see like, I know this is a masculine, but it's like kind of like the feminine, like it's like this is her being her own masculine, and she's exhausted, right? She's got like, these etheric wings, doing it all herself, right? It can be that way, but at the same time, we're at a point where we love ourselves so much that we aren't going to tolerate this Knight of Wands, playboy, in and out of our lives stuff anymore. The crumbs, like none of that. And so, in my mind, there's just so much growth that's happened, right? We've got the Seven of Wands and things that are happening, which we're going to look at here, I promise, behind the scenes, below the surface, that we don't know about, just within our journeys, right? But I think ultimately, and you guys, you'll see I don't do videos like this that much anymore. I think just because the focus has really just become more about the, your own journey, and getting to a point where you just love being in your own energy. So I don't know how really else to explain it, but I think that might be a good segue for us to get into the lessons that we're supposed to learn here, which I think a lot of that I did already get into. But let's jump into it. So I'm gonna pull cards, one or more cards from my Cosmic Order Oracle. Wow. Okay. So we got Quantum Field. I don't know if you guys can see that. This to me, this is the only deck that I have created that has a booklet with it. It's like a 43 page booklet. But I'm not gonna, just because of time, get into reading it. What I'm already getting up is like, we've been taught to go with the flow, to stop resisting, to stop trying to control, it's like, if you would have told me, at the end of 2017, that we'd be entering 2023 and I would still be single, and not be able to have children, because that's, I just found that out, and that my quote twin would be in a relationship with someone else, that I wouldn't be in a relationship with anybody else, that I would have no prospects, and I wouldn't even care. Like, in the sense, it's like, so much has happened, when you stop resisting and you just surrender. And I feel like for those in the collective, like the surrendering really started within the last year, right? For me, it was like quitting my job, and I opened up like a floodgate of stuff happening. Just it, in the financial realm. And it's just because I started flowing and trusting and saying, you know what, and along that way, like little by little, day by day, as more time went by, it's like, gosh, I love to travel. I don't know that I want to have children. I don't know that I want that anymore. And you know what? Like, I don't know that I would want someone in my life who can be so hot and cold, and who can just, you know, shut off, you just completely cut you out of their life, without an explanation, even as a friend, that type of thing. It's like, why, it's like I've been shown and taught how to love myself. And the more that's happened, the more I've found myself, the more I've traveled, the more I've brought in Soul Tribe, just opportunities. It's like, when would I have time for a relationship? And almost, it's funny, like I've almost become the avoidant one, I've become the one that's like, I don't even know if I want this, like with anybody, right? I'm just so content, like I'd rather just do my own thing. And who would have thought, right? But once I kind of just went with the flow, that's what happened. And what's interesting is we had the root chakra come out, the root chakra card, and I was just talking about abundance. And to me, it's like, this has been about building up our own foundation, right? Not needing a man financially, not needing a man to fulfill, like, our lower chakra urges, right? We found other passions to pursue. That's, and if you haven't, I guess I'm making assumptions. The spiritual lesson here is, you need to flow, and you need to trust that what you think you want and you're desiring and holding on to more than anything right now, it may not be what's meant for you. And there's reasons that things aren't progressing a certain way, and you just can't see it yet, and you don't know why, and it may not make sense, and it doesn't make it easier. But the more you surrender and you just flow, and the more you focus on your own foundation, your own creative endeavors, your own passions, right? That the more this opens up the possibilities. Also, quantum field to me represents tapping into higher vibrational energies, right? The spiritual lesson here, the reason this person came in your life, to awaken you, to come in and trigger you and help you grow and help you ascend, so that you could access and anchor these higher frequencies, and start, really experiencing magic, start really manifesting. And it's like, I just have such gratitude for him. And I mean, it's just, yeah, I've done the work, right? I've done the work, but he's the one that sparked it. He's the one that, opened the door for me and kind of pushed me through, right? Each time that, like I said, I would get off path, come in, until the point now that I'm just in this state of flowing. And it's like, wow, what a gift. What a gift that was. And what a gift that, the lesson here is too, like the unanswered prayers, the Garth Brooks song, like what a gift it was that, I didn't just get in a relationship with him back in 2017. Number one, it probably wouldn't have worked out long term. And number two, I sure wouldn't be where I am now. And, the growth is just, it's exponential, right? I feel like just in the last 3 months, it's been like more than I've grown in the last 3 years. And so when you tap into the quantum field and that quantum energy, things start moving faster. You start bringing in more things, attracting more things, beautiful things, right? The quantum field also, you have the ability to go in and go back and revisit situations and reflect and forgive and even heal from it. Like, go back and heal your inner child. And it's just, there's so many possibilities, and that's what you start recognizing when you tap into this energy. We also had Pluto come out, which Pluto is tied to death and rebirth and transformation. So again, you can't make this shit up. I don't even need to read the booklet, because we know why, right? That the spiritual lesson here was to shed the layers of yourself to be reborn, and to rise. So that's absolutely beautiful energy. We're also going to look at, again, another spiritual lesson. We've got the cosmic reading cards. Let's see what they say here. Self-worth. Again, 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 to me is a number of solitude. This is self-worth. Again, this person, likely triggered in you, making you feel you weren't worthy because they rejected you. They didn't stick around. But when they, it's like they're helping you unveil the true you. And until you love yourself completely, if you're on this sacred union journey, you often find that you don't want to be with anybody, right? You might think it's because you're hanging on to this, this one person, but it's like the more you start to love yourself and spend time alone, you say, you know what? I don't know that I want to let they've got to be a really special person to let, you put up those boundaries. You don't want to let just anyone in. You protect your energy. And that's one of the gifts of this journey. Something that I wasn't doing, for sure 5 years ago. I was starting to. I think that was when I started the celibacy vow, was in late 2017. But before that, especially after my divorce, it was just your body is sacred, your energy is sacred. And until you recognize your self-worth and love yourself, you're going to maybe share yourself in ways that that's not in your best interest. Okay. So let's see for the spiritual lesson. What were you supposed to learn? What if you were supposed to learn about love from this person? Obviously self-love, but Universal Love Guidebook. Enchantment. Oh, I love it. And then we got love. That's so funny. So to me, now I'll see what the book says about this. This is just beautiful. This is about literally just finding joy all around, joy in everything. It's about oneness, and it's about magic, right? Tapping into the magic. I don't know how many times now, right? Especially in the last year, it's really started last couple years. It was 2021 when it started happening, where myself and others, you start capturing images that literally are beyond this world. And I've recently learned a lot of it is sixth dimensional energy, light codes and light energy that's coming in, and it's manifesting itself, in photographs that we're seeing. I've been capturing hearts, crosses, and it's beyond orbs. You can see outlines and shapes of light beings. So it's just when you start to tap into that kind of stuff, you're just okay, there is so much more than this physical world and this need to even be with a person, because you're becoming the light. You're becoming the light, and the enchantment. And I'm telling you, I'm not kidding. Okay, sacred geometry is on the top here of my cosmic order deck. This is the stuff that I'm seeing with my bare eyes now. I don't even know. I did have my vision checked, and actually it's funny because my one eye is terrible now, and I had to get special reading glasses for when I'm working on the computer. But when I look, there's nothing wrong with my eyes. It's normal strain and for my age and stuff. But my Christmas tree lights, when I look at them, I see it looks like a dandelion, of sparks emanating off them. And I'm mesmerized because I've never seen anything like that before. And it's the same lights, and the other day I was doing some restorative yoga, and I had all these blankets and stuff, and I was on the floor by my tree, and within the sparks of light, I saw a hexagon like this. It was like a rainbow hexagon, and I saw with my bare eyes, and I'm it's just, the more that kind of stuff happens every day, the enchantment with the world around you, it's I don't know, it's like I almost feel like I'm in my own world, in my own bubble now, to where I don't know that I'd want to entertain anybody else being in my space. So, that's where we're supposed to be heading, right? That's the purpose of this connection, is to leading us back not only to ourself but also to source and all. So let's see what it says. Enchantment. Slow down, pause to see and feel the love and beauty that surrounds you. Smell the roses, gaze at the stars, and feel the breeze caress your face. Feel the sun shine down from above and the steady earth beneath your feet. Observe nature and her changing seasons, autumn leaves, misty sunrises, dewdrops in the morning, waves of the ocean, luscious blades of grass, and rainbows. Find nature embodied in a smile, a kindness, a sincere gesture, or a tender word. Think of someone and connect with them spiritually. Send out your love, light, and blessings. Despite all its madness, difficulty, and suffering, the world is an amazing place. Life is amazing. The sky, the earth, the universe, the great cycles of birth, death, and rebirth, all are amazing, as are you. I love this. Absolutely love it. That's exactly what I was saying, right? Is the more that you tap into the universal love and the cosmos, the less need you have to have anyone there with you physically. And I promise you, if you're not feeling that yet, that's why you're watching this reading. That's why, these messages are coming through for you. Okay, so now we are going to look at shadow work. What was the purpose of the soul connection? What shadow work? These are Triggers and Shadows Oracle that I created. Oh my God, you guys, you cannot make this shit up. You can't. Unrequited love. This, of all the cards, the 55 cards in my deck, this one for me was probably, this was the biggest trigger on my twin flame journey. Absolutely. Because, not once did he ever, express feelings for me. In any capacity. And, I did ultimately later on, see like that he had written some poems that I know were about me based on timing of like when we had reconnected at one point. But that, I think, finally, even though it was never said directly to me, helped me heal this unrequited love wound. It took so long because it just was like not being chosen, that feeling of rejection. And it's like, well, you got to think, what does that tie back to? Right. And for me, a lot of it was, being bullied in school, never really having boys like me in school, having friends come and go out of my life. It's like, I never felt accepted. So, I remember like being at the skating rink every week, it was like the Friday night thing. And it was like probably 4th, 5th grade we're talking about, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade. And I don't think I ever got chosen on the moonlight skate by a boy, ever. Maybe once, like by 5th or 6th grade, but it wasn't a boy I even liked. It was like, yeah, not, and so every week I would hope and pray, and there was this pattern, like every week I'd do the skating rink thinking that this one boy I liked, it was going to be different, he would choose me, and he never did. And then I would go home and I'd cry, and it was like this pattern, right, of this like fantasy, and it was unrequited love. And then I realized, like, on my twin flame journey, there was a pattern of me seeing him just about every week at his work, and hoping, oh, he's gonna ask me out this time, or we're gonna, because we'd already went out, obviously. And it was like that, I'm repeating this pattern from my childhood, and it finally dawned on me, because the mirroring card came out also. The mirroring card came out on this journey. People, they're mirroring each other, right? They're mirroring. So him choosing someone else doesn't mean, that he's not choosing you, but he's not choosing you because something's wrong with you. He's not choosing you because you're triggering him back. You're triggering in him the insecurity, the fears, Most likely broken home. A lot of the masculine energies came from a broken home. They don't know how to love themselves. So having somebody show up, in her glory, right? Um, and and it triggers them, and so they run from themselves, which means they then reject you. But what you're supposed to learn through this journey is that you've got to stop looking at it as being a rejection. You've got to look at it as, all right, this person isn't ready, this isn't the right person for me, it has nothing to do with me, right? And turn the focus back inward on yourself. But I can tell you, like, it takes a long time. It can. Doesn't have to, but to get over that rejection wound, that's what, you have. A lot of it, we're going to get into advice from spirit for you with that. But I feel like the best remedy really is just, number one, stop putting yourself in that situation where if somebody's giving you breadcrumbs and they just kind of keep you on a string, don't let them do it. If they're not showing up as a king, they're not showing up for you, they're not dating you, they're not taking time to get to know you, they're not choosing you. You need to choose yourself. They're showing you that you need to choose yourself by not choosing you. And when you choose yourself, when you get into that energy of loving, your life, spending time alone, and remember that enchantment card, right? Tapping into the cosmos, the magic of the universe, you get to the point where, like, honestly, you're existing in another realm above them. And it doesn't mean that you're better than them, right? But I was at this energy for the longest time where, my quote twin would reject me. And so then I would just immediately, like, and these were toxic people, but they were past life connections that would come in, and we'd have crazy chemistry, and they'd read my mind. I mean, so I thought, well, they're my twin, right? Then I started, like, attaching that label onto people who, like, didn't deserve it because I was so desperate to find somebody. And again, that's not gonna bring you good things. When you're desperate, when you're in need, when you're not focusing on yourself, as hard as it is, it's a journey of self. I'm trying to think of what else I was gonna say. I was talking about these other connections, right? Trying to attach the label onto them. And it's like, you keep getting the same lessons over and over, I think is what I was going to say, until you choose yourself. So, all right, let's move on. Now, this is probably what a lot of people have been waiting for here. I know a lot of the focus inward and all of the shadow work, that's stuff that a lot of, it's not the fun stuff what people want to hear. Okay, just a moment here. Okay. All right, I was just checking the time. Okay, we've got what is going on in this person's headspace. Okay, so we're going to use the Hidden Truth Oracle by All Things Intuitive. What is going on? This purpose of this too is just to help you kind of understand why things went down the way they did from a 3D standpoint. I've already given you the 5D, right? But what is going on with this in this person's head? Because they may not even understand. Like, they're not other than their higher self, understanding why they run, why they do things. Okay. Just a little more here. Going in their headspace. Okay. It says, I know that I crossed the line with you. So they recognize that, their behavior wasn't on the up and up. And they say, I hope that you can forgive me one day. So in their headspace, they're like, God, I know I treated this person terribly. I know that I strung her along. I know that I did crumbs. I know that, maybe they, like the Knight of Wands energy, they'd come in and out of your life, right? Maybe they'd get physical with you and then run or ghost you. And I think, I'm getting that they do feel bad about their behavior. And I think too, that's maybe another lesson is forgiveness. And I usually, I may be butchering this, but the Hopopono technique, you can Google that. It's something to the effect, I may mix up the order, but it's like, um, please forgive me. It's like, I'm sorry, please forgive me, thank you, I love you, right? And meaning, that's where we get into the mirroring card, because if you're putting that out, even if you don't feel like you need to be forgiven, it's like you're putting out that energy, and it's like it's a full circle, if that makes sense. And you very well may need to be saying that to yourself, like, forgive yourself for putting up with this behavior. But I think they do recognize, like, God, like, but the pull, the attraction was so strong that they just couldn't control themselves. I think they even and then they would run and they'd get scared. But they're saying that they know they crossed the line. But and it says you and I were too young. Now what I'm getting, for some of you, there could be an age difference, but I'm getting too young in the sense of spiritually immature. Like, you weren't ready spiritually. Doesn't mean that the connection is going to come back together, but I'm getting, like, the reason is, a lot of it, there was all of the growth, the spiritual lessons that we talked about. All of those things had to happen, right? And so at the time, when this connection, first came about, the spiritual the spiritual growth and the spiritual maturity, it wasn't there yet. And you wouldn't be where you are now, like I was saying earlier, had you got with this person at that time. Okay, so now we're going to look at what's in their heart space when they think about you. What's in their heart space? Actually, yeah, this is the one. What's in their heart space? Untold Truths of the Heart by Aqua Moonlight. Okay, so what I'm getting is they've got, so we've got frozen, silence, stillness, no words. So this is obviously confirmation for those of you who are not in touch with them. I'm getting that they have tried to close off their heart. They've tried to shut it off, and a lot, as we know, a lot of the masculine collective, I mean, they're good at that. They're good at suppressing their emotions, closing off their heart. So a lot of them, they don't let themselves go there. But what I'm getting is there are times, because this is on the bottom, where they long for you. Aching, pining, and it's a past love. It's like this feeling of just it creeps in sometimes. Like, I think they're pretty good at bypassing it and blocking it off, but sometimes it just, like, I'm getting just completely blindsides them. And it's in the stillness, actually. It's when, the moments, like when they're laying in bed at night and they're, where they're maybe meditating, moments, or maybe they're out in nature, but that it just, like, sometimes it overcomes them. I'm getting that they do, if you are still connected with them on social media, they do see you doing well and thriving, and that makes them happy, but it does also kind of, they feel this pang. I get, I'm getting in their heart, we've got pride here. Pride and apprehensive. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Pride is the ego, arrogance, stubborn. They're very stubborn. They're stubborn with staying guarded, apprehensive. So it's one of these things, like, the longing is there, but their pride is too strong. So then they just go through these cycles where they mostly stay frozen, and they keep their guard up. And again, that's not, as I was saying earlier, having, do you really want someone in your life that can close themselves off so easily, right? A divine masculine who is in his power and in his, full awakened, his authentic self, he's not going to be, if he is afraid, he's going to, instead of being, he's going to overcome it. He's going to overcome his pride, and he's going to be courageous, and he's going to step forward, and he's going to stay. So I get that, like, for some of you, perhaps this is helpful to know that they do feel badly about how they treated you. And in their heart, they do think of you as kind of the one that got away, as this past love. But I'm getting, they're too apprehensive, they're too scared, and they're guarded. And and for many, in many cases, they're with someone else anyway, and they feel safer with that person. And again, going back to the rejection wound, this is not about them not choosing you because they don't, because they don't care or they don't think you're worthy. Far from it. They don't feel worthy of you, and they feel safer staying with a connection that doesn't challenge them to grow the way you would as a divine feminine, that doesn't a and this is not putting anyone down or anything, but a lower vibrational connection, a woman, or who's younger, or who is not spiritually awakened, who's not in her thriving in her authentic self. She's not going to force him to be his authentic self. The somebody who's a who's a counterpart, soul connection, the mirroring, all of those things, he can't hide, he can't put his guard up, because the divine feminine sees through it and knows, and it scares the hell out of him. So he is choosing to stay safe. But you know what the beautiful thing about that is, while he is staying safe, and you have the opportunity, and the purpose of this is to take that energy of being rejected and turn around and love yourself, put all your time and effort into creation, into your mission, into living your best life. And I'm telling you, when you start doing that, I mean, it's just like rapid ascension, rapid growth, and it's just absolutely mind-blowingly beautiful. Okay. And I know, like, there's moments of despair on both sides here, right? You may feel hopeless, but finding that connection again to self and to source, right? It brings back hope. And here we go. That's why I was drawn to feminine energy, embracing your feminine energy and getting into that. Again, we've got the mirroring card. So this is about looking at things from that perspective, from the fact that it's a mirror. This is not just about you. This is like not, you not being worthy or good enough. It's, they don't feel like they're good enough for you. And you need to start realizing, you know what? They aren't good enough for you. They aren't. And for the longest time, that's what I was going to say earlier about these connections I would seek out. That person's my twin. That person's my twin. That, like, I would never entertain that now. Like, put people on a pedestal, thinking that, I'm, I don't know, like that they're above me. And it's like, no, like somebody's got to be up to my level now. And that's not something that I would have said a few months ago. Right? And it's like, until somebody shows up in that energy, like, they're not good enough. And I don't want them in my life. I don't want the crumbs. I don't want the in and out and hot cold energy, right? So that's what we're ultimately supposed to learn from this, is to never accept less than what we deserve. But what we have to recognize is our worthiness. And that starts with loving yourself. I know it sounds simple, but it's a long process and a long journey. Okay, so now we're going to look at some things that where is it? Maybe hidden, that you aren't seeing now from a perspective. I feel like we've went through quite a bit of this, but we're going to get into the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms by Colette Baron Reid. I just pulled a card, and it was actually the about the illustrator. So that was not a card. That's so funny. Maybe that's confirmation. We've kind of gotten all the messages here. The Chess Queen, trust and strategizing. I love this so much. To me, it's about, you manifesting the things you want. You might be like, well, I wanted to be with this person, or I want to be with a person. But would you, looking back, again, would you really go back to the self you were a year ago, 3 years ago, 5 years ago, and just stay, in this complacent energy? I mean, I wouldn't go back. And if you said you could go back and be in a relationship with this person and have the baby and the things that you thought you wanted, But then I see like what has happened in my life the last 5 years. Would I go back? No. So this is about trusting, right, that the universe, that you're a co-creator with the universe. So it's about that chess game of like flowing as the game goes. Like you might have all your moves planned out, but you need to say, oh, I'm going to trust that like this is this move happens, this door closed because I'm supposed to make this move instead, right? Let's see what the booklet says. Number 30. The chess queen has all the tools you need to aid you in your quest for a life of purpose, peace, and prosperity. When she arrives as your ally, you're given the task of asking Spirit for a vision for your life. Also, ask to know the right actions to ensure your part in this process of unfolding. Then, with a sense of trust, allow the strategy to be given unto you by the divine. Are your own goals and desires in alignment with the divine plan for your life? This is a reminder that there is your plan and there's the divine plan for your life. Was I not just, oh my God, you guys, you can't make this up. When you're in alignment with the latter, the divine plan, all manner of messages are delivered to aid you in taking the next right action for your life. The chess queen says, you will win this game as long as you let Spirit choose your moves. Follow your bliss and the inspired messages delivered by your soul. You cannot lose when you enter the realm of the chess queen and she appears as your ally. I love that so much, you guys. This again, follow your bliss. This is about connecting, the enchantment, right? Okay. All right, we are gonna wrap up here with a few messages to see what else Spirit wants you to know about your journey, meaning your sacred union journey, your journey of self. All right, look at the messages of love oracle cards here. We want this collective to know about their sacred union journey. Okay. Okay, what I'm getting, you guys probably aren't going to hear this, but no, it's not bad. Okay, retreat, time alone or in nature will help you recharge. Retreat, this is to me the Hermit card, this is the solitude, this is the self-love, this is telling you to focus on yourself. You've got here and now. Your true love is already part of your life. Now for some of you, this could be confirmation that if you do have a soul connection in your life, somebody who's new coming in, you are seeing this person, that, this person, could be a possible true love for you to help you learn these lessons, right, that are coming in. That's beautiful. But what I'm getting more for this collective, because of the retreat card, your true love is already part of your life. Your true love is yourself. Your true love is yourself. And I know you're like, oh my God, probably rolling your eyes, like, and I get it, because trust me, how many times I've heard this, and I'm like, oh my God. But I finally got here, truly. Like these last, 6 months, I'm telling you, I do have a new deck coming out. It's out, it's for sale. It's the Tarot of the Sea, but it is kind of like the sequel to my Sacred Union tarot, that we talked about earlier, that journey. And it's really like this journey about self-love. So I will do a walkthrough of that, to help you guys kind of understand the shift, right? And I may even do some comparison of the cards, where I was 2 years ago, where I am now, to try to help you. But I am telling you, when you make yourself, you realize you are the love of your life and that you have everything you need within you, the power that comes with that, it's like, I'm truly, I was saying earlier, kind of like, I don't know that I want to let anybody in, right? I'm just kind of like, yeah, it'd be nice to have someone in my life, but when would I have time? I have so much stuff going on. I have my career, I have my business. I'm becoming a fitness instructor, for Pound Fit. So it's like I have 3 jobs potentially that I love, that I can throw my time in. I have self-care, I do yoga, and I exercise. I have my animals, I have my family, I have some, beautiful friends that I don't have enough time to spend time with already, right? Like, there's just so much going on. It would take a lot, and take someone very special to come in to my life now to pull me away from myself and this beautiful journey that I'm on with myself right now. And I never thought I would get here. I'm telling you, it is not sunshine and rainbows. There are still days, there's still times where I'm like, oh man, you feel that longing, but each day does get easier. And the more that I've gotten here, the more doors of abundance have started to open in my life in other ways. So I do know that the best is yet to come. Now, the other card that came out is past life love. Your soul remembers this intense connection. This is confirmation that you're not crazy. This is, that the connection that you've, has transformed your life is a past life love. Your soul remembers it. That's why you've awakened. That's what sparked you to get on this journey, to connect to source. And what a beautiful gift that is, right? But I'm telling you, just because there's one past life love, there's plenty more. May not be the same intensity, the same depth, but there are just beautiful high vibrational connections out there. And it is possible to be happy with someone else. But you also, you want to make sure that you're not really just, seeking that out and settling, that you really find that love of yourself. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to move these. We're going to look at the Divine Feminine Healing cards by Mystic Moon. We've just got a few more messages from Spirit, and then we'll wrap up. Okay, we've got honesty. I speak up when I have something to share. I am no longer fearful of what other people cannot handle. This, to me, is about the throat chakra. Like, in addition to, the abundance in the lower chakras, this journey has allowed us to speak our truth, live our truth, and not be afraid of what people think anymore. And once you start to embody and become your authentic self and take off your mask, right, the people around you, either will start to do the same, or you're going to attract people in your life who, are living their truth. And if somebody's not authentic, the more time you spend alone and you set those boundaries and you love yourself, you're going to recognize it pretty quickly and be like, okay, I'm not putting up with this and letting this person in my life, right? All right. Let's see. We have an Ascended Master who wants to work with us. Let's see what Ascended Master message is coming through. Oh my God, you guys. All right, but here we go. So we got fertility. This is about creation. This is about the divine feminine energy. This is about abundance, bringing in all the things we want. Now, this is funny because the card that came out right after it is Twin Flame. But the third card that came in is Let It Go. So this person, yes, they might be your twin flame. Your twin flame. What does that really mean? Right? That doesn't necessarily mean, right, a twin flame, that you're going to be in union with this person. This means this person is such a profound, amazing, beautiful connection that when you do find that person who has the same energetic frequency as you, to where they spark that awakening and trigger you, and bring you back to your authentic self, right? What a beautiful gift that is, to find this person in this lifetime. Someone who does love you enough to actually push you away because they're not going to give you what you deserve. And they know that you need to find your true love, which is yourself. Now, we do have the spiritual law of attraction here also. So what I'm getting is, like, for some of you, you need to, focus on the fertility of, like, growing your own life, making your own existence, your own world, your own path, letting this twin flame concept go. And the spiritual law of attraction is, the more you become magnetic, right? When you let something go, not push it away, not block it off, but when you let something go, you focus on yourself, you become magnetic. Now, whether you attract this person back or a connection that's even beyond your wildest dreams, more powerful, more magnetic. I don't know that I necessarily believe that there's more than one twin flame, so to speak, that has your exact same frequency, because the concept of a twin is there's two. There's two counterparts, right? But in my mind, the purpose of it is growth, ascension, journey back to self. And the more you ascend, there are other people who have been on this journey, who've been doing their work, whether or not they identify themselves as a twin flame or not. My point being, there's not, this is a vast universe, right? And there's people out there who you've not even met yet, and I know, myself, I had a beautiful relationship, and I'll get into some of this with my Tarot of the Sea card. I mean, I finally, after 5 years, and walking away from the twin flame concept, had a beautiful relationship with someone. He just wasn't the love of my life, but I learned so much from him, and I still love him very much, and I always will, and I want the best for him. But he's just not, the one. I ultimately realized I was happier by myself and in my own energy, and that he's, really one of my best friends, and that's what, it was supposed to be. But we did help each other grow, right? And my point being, I didn't even know that a guy like him, I wouldn't have opened myself up to that, a year and a half ago. And I didn't know he was out there. And I've met other people who I didn't know was, that they were out there, starting to go to different places and things. So my point is, don't close yourself off to one person. Spirit's saying, let it go, focus on yourself, and drawing in, you will draw in beautiful things the more you focus on you. And look, there's some sacred geometry there. Magic, I love it. All right, we've got a couple more messages that want to come through before we wrap up. Got a message of surrender. Surrender low self-esteem. Surrender low self-esteem. You deserve success, love, and abundance. Set an intention to identify and release any remnants of low self-esteem. So we had the self-worth card come out also earlier, remember? This person, it triggers that within you, that rejection, right? Again, you've got to look at it as, I forgive you, I'm thankful that you're showing me how to love myself. Look at it as mirroring. They're not rejecting you because you aren't worthy. They're rejecting you or running away from you because they don't feel worthy. And again, they aren't worthy if they're not showing up for you. So you've got to look at it that way and really focus inward on loving yourself. We also have surrender to divine timing. Sometimes divine timing may differ from your ego's timing. If a goal isn't manifesting fast enough according to your ego, be patient and trust the universal flow. How many cards have we had come out about the universal flow, right? Okay. One more message from the Archangel Power Tarot cards, please, about this journey. Okay, the Chariot, Archangel Metatron. Determination and self-control, career advancement, acknowledgement of success by others. This to me is, you're on the right path. And it may not make sense now, you may not understand it, but the Chariot, 7, it's about forward momentum, forward motion. And once you find this balance of light and dark within, right? Balance the shadow, heal the shadow, balance it with our light, and also the masculine and feminine. That's when things really start to move forward and progress. And this is the determination and self-control. This is like having, the perseverance to focus and make the journey about you, and letting go of the attachment and need to be with a specific person or with anyone. Okay, so if you would like to schedule a reading with me, that information is down below. Sessions with me are customizable. So if you like, some of the format of this reading, we can look into your specific journey with a specific person or just in general. We can look at any other topics or things that you would like to talk about within that customizable session. So if you have any questions, let me know. Thanks so much, guys. Till next time, take care.